Hey folks, so a little while ago I put on some nunchuck videos. I did some Eskrima and some folks asked me if I can do the other Ninja Turtle weapons, and I would love to do that. I probably have the most training with like sword and staff and nunchuck, and the least training with sai, so we'll start with them. I really have the most training with like stick and knife stuff, but anyway, Ninja Turtles are cool because they're like a riff on Daredevil, right? Like he got hit in the eyes, Matt Murdock, with the canister, and then it rolls into the sewer and it hits the turtles, and he's above ground and he fights the hand, and they're below ground and they fight the foot, right? That's the turtles. And the weapons are like given to them by Splinter to like sort of like train out their bad characteristics. So my boy Raph is like the violent, aggressive turtle. So Splinter gives him the sai, which are, you know, like a defensive weapon. They're made to parry and move stuff out of the way versus, you know, like actually attacking with it. The other thing that's really interesting about the turtles is like all the weapons aren't really practical to dual wield. Like, why would you ever fight with two sai? It would make more sense to fight with one parrying dagger and one like sword or stick or something like that. Same with nunchucks. Like really the sai, the ninjato or katana or the nunchuck, like if you pull them out, the best thing that you could probably do is just throw the first one and then fight with one. And then Donatello's like the opposite. He's like, I've got this big stick and I'm in a tight little sewers corridor. Maybe I should break it in half and fight with two sticks. Anyway, sai. We're gonna look at the martial arts style first, which is to hold it in the web of your thumbs and then just do like these open and close motions. You could strike with that, I suppose, right? You get this little snappy strike, but it's not super effective. Really, if I do that as hard as I can versus just holding it as a hammer and just hitting it like that, my hammer grip or my FMA grip is a lot better than my flicking it out. So really that's just a surprise thing that you could do. And it's just a flashy movement for forms. So that's kind of the basics of like the stuff you'll see in martial arts. And then when you flip it around, you'll see when they flip it back, they're gonna hold it in this position here as a punching weapon. How practical is this really? Pretty decently. Like this, if I hit you with this, it would definitely be no bueno. But the idea of like, I'm gonna parry, move something out of the way and hit you with the butt of my sai, probably any other weapon is gonna be more effective, right? So, you know, we can work weapon counts from that martial arts grip and just kind of change to open and close. So I might start with a 1, and then I could even come in and I could punch for my 2. You know, I could go 1, 2, 3, right? I could go 1, 2, leaving them open now, 3, 4, you know, and I could work in that double tap. But really, to get power into the strikes, into the side, we should just think of them as a parrying dagger and a stick in either hand, you know. So using them in this position, you know, I'm thinking I'm parrying this out of the way, and I'll just work a 2 count here, right? Maybe I'm coming over here, I'm parrying out of the way, then I'm 1, I'll release 2, 3, you know, looking at that motion. If we want to reverse one and think of it as a punching one, we can. You know, we can think about catching with like a roof block. Really, a grip like that makes more sense on that. So I parry, you know, I'm catching that weapon, I'm moving it out of the way, and maybe I'm coming right over the top for my 1 count, and then back around for my 2 count. So, you know, something like I'm here, 1, 2, right? I'm here, 1, 2, 3. And that's the basics of you know, working the 2 sai. You can just think of them exactly like sticks. You know, work your regular counts just like you would with an Eskrima stick, but why not just use an Eskrima stick if we're doing it that way? Again, I think 1 sai makes more sense than 2 sai. So even if I just have the 1, you know, I can think of it as a stick or a knife, and I've got this cool little area where I could catch. So, you know, I could work my counts just like I'm doing, you know, a Eskrima. But I could think about, you know, catching and using the other hand. So maybe I'm like 1, you know, I'm parrying, you know, coming in for 2. Or I'm catching, you know, moving offside, hitting, you know, for 2 and 3. Something of that nature. Or just incorporate another weapon. When we think about the sai is, it's little. This one's made out of aluminum, so it's really light. But, you know, if I am hitting, you know, as hard as and snappy as I can with it, you know, just picking up a stick that's a similar girth or whatever, similar length, you know, I'm going to get way more power out of the stick just because it has so much more mass. So, you know, doing the sai, you know, and thinking of that same kind of thing, like I'm doing my roof block, I'm moving it, that's going to be way more effective than the 2 sai. And then if you want to be a little bit more like, I just don't want to bludgeon people to death, you know, you could work it with a knife, right? So the same kind of thing. I'm up here, I'm coming in 1, 2, you know, working on my cutting type motion. You know, I'm up here, I'm parrying, I'm driving forward. Now I just can cut and work back out. So Raphael, you know, this I think would have been a much more effective way for you to fight the foot than 2 of these bad boys.